I never thought I'd be the kind of mother who'd have to protect her child from her own family, but there I was. On October 14th, watching my sister Vanessa kick through a pile of wrapped presents while 20 adults stood in my backyard laughing. And my son Matteo, sweet, quiet 7-year-old Matteo, stood frozen by the picnic table, chocolate cake still on his fork, watching his entire birthday collapse around him. Let me back up. I'm Sarah. I'm 34, a high school art teacher in suburban Connecticut, and until that Saturday afternoon, I thought I'd finally figured out how to manage my family. My strategy was simple: keep the peace, smile through the comments, make myself small enough that I wouldn't become the target. It had worked for years. Mostly, my sister Vanessa is 2 years older than me. She's always been the golden child, louder, funnier, more confident. She married a surgeon, lives in a house with actual columns, drives a Range Rover that costs more than I make in a year. She has twin daughters, Claire and Madison, who are 9 and already have Instagram accounts managed by Vanessa with 15,000 followers. Perfect lives, perfect angles, perfect everything. I have Matteo, just Matteo. His father, Derek, left when I was 6 months pregnant. Decided fatherhood wasn't aligned with his personal growth journey, so it's been me and my son in a 3-bedroom ranch with a mortgage I can barely afford and a vegetable garden that never quite produces the tomatoes I imagine. But Matteo is everything. He's gentle and observant, loves dinosaurs and origami, has this way of tilting his head when he's thinking that breaks my heart every single time. He doesn't talk much at school, gets anxious around loud noises, takes a while to warm up to people. He's been in therapy since kindergarten for social anxiety. We're working on it. He's doing better. This party was supposed to be progress. For his 6th birthday, we'd had just immediate family, too overwhelming otherwise. But Matteo had actually asked, if we could invite kids from school this year. He'd made 3 friends in his class: Oliver, Zoe, and Aiden. He wanted them there. He wanted it to feel like a real party, he'd said, showing me a video from Claire and Madison's birthday last year, the one with the petting zoo and the magician and the candy table that looked like it cost more than my monthly grocery budget. I couldn't give him that, but I could give him something good. I spent 3 weeks planning. Dinosaur theme, his favorite. I made the invitations by hand, little T-Rex cutouts with googly eyes. Ordered a custom cake from the bakery in town, chocolate with vanilla buttercream, shaped like a stegosaurus. Set up a fossil dig sandbox in the backyard with plaster bones I'd made from a craft kit. Planned games. Made goodie bags. Used the money I'd been saving for a new winter coat. Matteo helped me hang the streamers, green and orange, stretched across the back patio. He stood on a step stool, tongue between his teeth in concentration, and said, "Mom, this is gonna be so cool." And I believed him. The party was at 2 o'clock. By 1:30, my house was full. My parents came first, Dad hauling in ice, Mom immediately rearranging my kitchen like she always does, moving things to where they should be. Then my Aunt Linda and Uncle Rob, my cousin Jesse with his wife Hannah and their toddler. Then Vanessa. She arrived like weather. Range Rover in the driveway. Doors slamming. Her voice carrying across the yard before I even saw her. "Sarah, oh my God. Is this whole thing dinosaurs? That's so cute." Claire and Madison are totally over dinosaurs, but this is adorable for 7. She had the twins with her, both in matching floral dresses and white sandals, hair curled like they were going to a photo shoot. Her husband Greg was behind her, already on his phone. Vanessa was holding 2 Whole Foods bags and a bottle of wine. "I brought snacks," she announced, breezing past me. "I wasn't sure if you'd have anything the girls could actually eat. They're gluten-free now, and dairy-free, and we're trying to reduce processed sugar." I watched her unpack organic fruit, leather, and activated cashews onto my counter while my dinosaur-shaped cookie sat on a plate nearby. "Vanessa, I have regular snacks," I said. "It's a kid's birthday party." "Oh, totally. I'm not saying you don't. I'm just saying my kids have dietary needs." She smiled. That smile that's technically friendly but feels like a test. "But honestly, Sarah, this is precious. Very homemade." Matteo must be so excited. Matteo wasn't excited. He was anxious. I could see it in the way he was standing near the back door, shoulders up, watching everyone fill our small house. When Oliver, Zoe, and I then arrived, the three school friends who mattered most, he finally smiled. Small but real. I thought maybe this would be okay. We did the fossil dig. The kids loved it. Matteo found a femur I'd buried deep and held it up like a trophy. Oliver gave him a high five. Zoe cheered. For 20 minutes it was exactly what I'd wanted for him. Then it was time for presents. I'd set them up on a folding table on the patio. About 12 boxes, wrapped in bright paper. Some from classmates, some from family. Matteo's eyes went wide when he saw the pile. He looked at me, and I nodded. Go ahead, baby. He sat down in the chair I'd set out, everyone gathering around him. I stood near the cake table, phone in hand, ready to take pictures. My dad was beside me, arms crossed, smiling in that quiet way he has. My mom was fussing with the streamers that had come loose. Matteo reached for the first present, a small box wrapped in blue paper. Before he could even pull the tag off, Vanessa's voice cut through the yard. Wait, wait, wait! Before he opens anything, can we get a picture? All the kids together by the presents? Claire, Madison, go stand with Matteo. I watched my nieces walk over, both looking bored. Matteo glanced at me. I shrugged. It's fine. One picture. Vanessa pulled out her phone, started directing like a stage manager. Matteo, move to the left. Claire, smile bigger. Madison, head on hip, just like I taught you. There we go. Okay. Hold it. She took 15 photos. Different angles, different poses. At one point, she had the twins standing in front of Matteo, literally blocking him from view so she could get their outfits in the shot. When she finally finished, Matteo looked exhausted. Okay, buddy. Now you can open your presents, I said. Trying to keep my voice bright, he picked up the same blue box again. This one was from Oliver. Matteo carefully peeled back the tape, folded the paper, opened the box. Inside was a small dinosaur figurine, a triceratops, painted metallic green. His face lit up. Whoa. He whispered. Do you like it? Oliver asked, bouncing on his heels. I love it, Matteo said. That's cute, Vanessa said loudly from across the patio. Claire, remember when you were into dinosaurs? For like 5 minutes in preschool? Madison giggled. A few adults chuckled. I ignored it. Matteo reached for the next gift. Then the next. Each time, he opened carefully, examined the toy or book, thanked whoever gave it to him. A Lego set, a puzzle, a stuffed brachiosaurus. He arranged them on the table beside him, organizing them into a little display, and then Vanessa walked over. I didn't see it coming. I should have, but I didn't. She picked up the triceratops from Oliver, held it up to the light. God, these little toys are everywhere now. Claire has 1 million of these from when she was younger. We donated them all last year. Too much clutter. She set it down, hard. The figurine wobbled on the table. Matteo reached for the next gift, a box from his Aunt Linda, medium-sized. He tore the paper, pulled out a dinosaur encyclopedia. His eyes went huge. He loved books, loved facts. He opened to the first page, fingers tracing the illustration of a T-Rex skeleton. Vanessa leaned in, looking over his shoulder. Ooh, very educational. That's nice. Super age-appropriate. It sounded like a compliment. It wasn't. She glanced around the group, then laughed. You know what's funny? At Claire and Madison's birthday last year, they got tablets, personalized, and gift cards. People know they're growing up. A couple of people laughed. My mom chuckled. Greg smirked at his phone. Matteo looked up at me, confused. I forced a smile. Keep going, baby. He opened another box, then another. Each time, Vanessa commented, sometimes to the group, sometimes just loud enough for the people nearby. Little observations that sounded harmless but sank into the air like stones. That's sweet. Very simple. I remember when kids were excited about stuff like this, the other adults started to join in. Not mean exactly, just laughing, agreeing, making jokes about how times have changed and kids today. My cousin Jessie said something about Matteo being old school, and everyone chuckled like it was cute. But Mateo had stopped smiling. He opened a small package from Zoe, a little wind-up dinosaur toy. He turned the key, watched it waddle across the table. But he didn't laugh. He just nodded, said thank you. His voice was quieter now, and Vanessa kept going. She picked up the Lego set. Read the box. 40 pieces. Oh, starter set. She put it down. Claire builds the 1,000-piece sets now. Takes her like 2 hours. She's so advanced. I felt something crack in my chest. Vanessa, that's enough, I said quietly. She looked at me, eyes wide. Innocent. What? I'm just making conversation. You're making comments. She laughed. Oh my God. Sarah, relax. I'm not doing anything. It's a party. She turned back to the group. She's so sensitive, isn't she? A few people laughed. Like it was a joke. Like I was the problem. Mateo opened the last gift box from my dad. Inside was a wooden model kit. A T-Rex you build and paint yourself. Mateo pulled it out, and for a second, his face softened. This is so cool, he whispered. Your grandpa picked that out special, I said. My dad nodded, smiling. Vanessa walked over again. She picked up the box, examined it. Huh, wood, retro. I didn't even know they still made these. She turned it over in her hands, and then she dropped it. Not on purpose. Or maybe on purpose. It hit the table, bounced, fell onto the concrete patio. One of the wooden pieces snapped. Everyone froze. Mateo stared at the broken piece on the ground. Oops, Vanessa said, shrugging. It's fine. It's just wood. But it wasn't fine. Mateo's hands were shaking. And then God. I don't even know how it started. Vanessa laughed. She turned to Greg, gestured at the pile of gifts, and said, I mean, look at all this stuff. This is like a birthday from 1995. Madison giggled. Claire whispered something behind her hand. Vanessa picked up one of the wrapped gifts that Mateo hadn't opened yet, a soft package from a school friend's parent. She squeezed it. What is this? A stuffed animal. Oh, sweetie, you're 7. Aren't you getting a little old for this? And before I could react, before anyone could stop her, she tossed it onto the ground. Not gently. Not an accident. She threw it. It landed near the broken model piece. The paper tore. Mateo stood up from his chair, staring, silent. And Vanessa kept going. She picked up another box. The puzzle. She shook it. These kinds of presents are so, I don't know, impersonal, right? She dropped it. It hit the concrete with a hard thud. My dad stepped forward. Vanessa, but she was already reaching for the next gift. The Lego set. She held it up like she was inspecting it. Honestly, Mateo, you should have just asked for gift cards. Then you could get something actually good. She tossed it. It landed on top of the puzzle box. The cardboard dented. Mateo's lip was trembling. Vanessa, stop it, I said. My voice shook. She laughed. What? I'm just saying. And I'll never forget this, she picked up the encyclopedia. The one he'd been so excited about. The one he'd been holding so carefully. She held it up, looked at the group. Who gives a kid a book at a birthday party? And she threw it. It hit the ground so hard the spine bent. The group erupted in laughter. Not everyone. Not my dad. But enough people. My mom was shaking her head, smiling like this was just Vanessa being Vanessa. My cousin Jessie was laughing, saying, Jesus, Van, take it easy. Like it was funny. Like this was entertainment. Vanessa was grinning, feeding off it. She grabbed another present. Then another, tossing them, dropping them, kicking one across the patio, and everyone watched. Some looked uncomfortable. A few adults glanced away, but no one stopped her. Mateo was crying now, quiet, shoulders shaking, tears streaming down his face, and Vanessa kicked the stuffed brachiosaurus across the concrete. That's when my dad moved. Drop your city in the comments. Let's see how far this story travels. My father is not a loud man. He's 71, retired postal worker, spends most Sundays in his garage fixing things that aren't broken. He's the kind of man who measures twice and cuts once, who takes 20 minutes to answer a question because he's thinking about it from every angle. He doesn't yell. He doesn't lecture. He just is. But when he moved across that patio, Everyone felt it. He walked past me, past my frozen mother, past Jessie and Hannah still laughing nervously, past Vanessa who was reaching for another present. And he stopped directly in front of her. She looked up mid-reach, smile still on her face. "What?" she said, still playful, still expecting him to join in the joke. He didn't speak right away. He stood there, looking at the pile of ruined gifts on the ground. The torn paper, the bent encyclopedia, the broken wooden model. Matteo behind him, small and shaking and crying. Then he looked at Vanessa, picked them up. He said, his voice wasn't loud, but it cut through everything. Vanessa blinked. "What?" "Pick them up." The laughter died. The entire backyard went silent. Vanessa laughed nervously, glancing around for support. "Dad, it's not a big deal. I was just playing around. You were humiliating a child," he said. "At his birthday party. In his own home. Oh my God, Dad. It's not that serious, pick them up." She stared at him. The smile finally faded. "You're joking. I've never been more serious in my life." Greg stepped forward then, phone finally down. "Hey, come on." "She didn't mean Greg," my father said, not even looking at him. "If you speak right now, I will ask you to leave too." "Greg, shut up." My dad turned back to Vanessa. "You have 30 seconds to pick up every single present you threw, put them back on that table, and apologize to Matteo. Or you leave." Vanessa's face flushed red. "You're not serious." 25 seconds. "Dad, this is ridiculous." Sarah's being oversensitive. Matteo's fine. "It was just a joke." 20 seconds. "I'm not going to Vanessa." My mother's voice finally quiet from the other side of the patio. "Do what your father says." Vanessa spun to look at her, betrayed. "Mom now," my mother said. For a long moment, Vanessa just stood there, face red, hands clenched. She looked around the yard, at all the people watching, at her twins staring at her with wide eyes, at Greg looking at his shoes. And no one was laughing now. Slowly, stiffly, Vanessa bent down. She picked up the stuffed brachiosaurus, set it on the table. Then the encyclopedia. Then the broken model kit, the pieces clinking in the box. One by one, she gathered the presents she'd thrown and tossed and kicked. Her hands were shaking. She wasn't looking at anyone. When the last present was back on the table, my dad said, "Now apologize." Vanessa turned to him, jaw tight. "I'm not to Matteo." She looked over at my son. He was standing beside me now, face buried against my leg, my hand on his back. He wouldn't look up. "Matteo," Vanessa said, voice clipped. "I'm sorry." "You're not," my dad said. "But you will be." He turned to me. "Sarah, take Matteo inside. He doesn't need to be out here for this." I nodded, numb, and guided my son toward the house. As we passed the cake table, Matteo whispered, "I don't want the party anymore." My heart broke. "I know, baby. I know." I got him to his room, closed the door, and sat with him on his bed. He cried into my shoulder, the kind of crying that comes from deep confusion, not understanding why someone would do something like that, why people would laugh. I held him and stroked his hair and whispered every reassurance I could think of. But I knew that something in him had shifted today. A small crack in the way he saw the world. It took 20 minutes before he cried himself out. He fell asleep against me, exhausted. I laid him down, pulled his dinosaur blanket over him, kissed his forehead. Then I went back outside. The party was over. Most of the guests had left. A few lingering awkwardly by the gate, saying hushed goodbyes. Oliver's mom gave me a sympathetic look and said, "Call me if you need anything." Zoe's dad squeezed my shoulder. Vanessa was gone. Greg was gone. The twins were gone. My mother was cleaning up plates in silence, lips pressed together. Jessie and Hannah were folding chairs. My dad was sitting at the picnic table, staring at the pile of presents, now neatly stacked again. I walked over and sat beside him. For a long time, neither of us said anything. Then he spoke. "I should have stopped her sooner. Dad. I should have stopped her years ago." I looked at him. His jaw was tight. His hands were folded in front of him, knuckles white. "I let it go too long," he said quietly. "The comments, The little digs. I told myself it was just how she is. That you could handle it. That keeping the peace mattered more than calling her out. He shook his head. I was wrong. My throat tightened. It's not your fault. It is, he said. Because I taught her that it was okay. That as long as no one pushed back, she could do whatever she wanted. He finally looked at me. I'm sorry, Sarah. I didn't know what to say. I'd spent so long believing that managing Vanessa was my job, that staying small was survival. Hearing my dad say this out loud felt like something inside me unlocking. What did you say to her? I asked, after I went inside. He sighed. I told her she's not welcome here until she understands what she did. That it's not about the presents. It's about cruelty. About humiliating a child for a laugh. He paused. I told her that if she ever treats you or Matteo like that again, she's done. Not just with you. With me. With your mother. With this family. I stared at him. You said that? I meant it. What did she say? She left. He rubbed his face. Your mother tried to soften it. Said maybe I was too harsh. But I wasn't. I wasn't harsh enough, if anything. My mother appeared then, carrying a trash bag, face unreadable. She glanced at my dad, then at me. Matteo okay? He's sleeping, I said. She nodded, set the bag down. For a moment, I thought she might defend Vanessa. Make excuses. Tell me to let it go. Instead, she said, I'm sorry we laughed. I blinked. We shouldn't have. She continued, voice tight. It wasn't funny. I didn't realize how bad it was until your father stepped in. She looked away. I didn't protect him. I should have. I didn't know how to respond. My mother isn't the type to apologize, to admit fault. But here she was, and I could see the guilt in her eyes. Thank you, I said quietly. She nodded, then went back to cleaning. The next 2 weeks were strange. Vanessa didn't call, didn't text. Radio silence. My mother called a few times, checking in on Matteo, asking how he was doing. She didn't mention Vanessa. Neither did I. My dad stopped by 3 days after the party with a new dinosaur model kit better than the one that broke. He and Matteo spent an afternoon in the garage building it together. Matteo didn't talk much, but he smiled when they finished painting it. Oliver, Zoe, and Aiden's parents reached out. We did a small redo party at the park just for kids, low-key, no pressure. Matteo laughed for the first time in days when Oliver accidentally launched a foam rocket into a tree. Things felt quieter, safer, but I kept waiting for Vanessa to explode back into our lives. It happened 2.5 weeks later. I was in the kitchen making dinner when my phone buzzed. A text from Vanessa. Can we talk? I stared at it for a full minute, then called my dad. She texted me, I said. What did she say? She wants to talk. He was quiet for a moment. What do you want to do? I don't know. Then don't decide yet, he said. Take your time. I didn't respond to her text that night, or the next day, or the day after that. On the 4th day, she called. I let it go to voicemail. She left a message. Her voice was different, smaller. Hey, Sarah, it's me. I know I messed up. At the party, I wasn't thinking. I don't know. I thought it was funny. And then it got out of hand. And I didn't know how to stop. A pause. I'm sorry. Really, I want to talk. When you're ready. No pressure. Yeah, I'm sorry. I listened to it 3 times. It sounded genuine. But I'd heard Vanessa apologize before. Usually right before she did the same thing again. I talked to my dad. He said, if you want to talk to her, that's your choice. But you don't owe her anything. I thought about Matteo, about the way he'd cried, the way he'd asked me, so quietly, why did Aunt Vanessa do that? And I decided. I texted her back. If you want to talk, it has to be in person. And you need to apologize to Matteo, not me, him. She responded immediately. Okay, when? We set a date. The following Saturday. At my house. She showed up alone. No Greg, no twins. Just her, standing on my porch in jeans and a sweater, hands in her pockets, looking smaller than I'd ever seen her. I let her in. Offered coffee. She said no. We sat in the living room. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. Then she said, I'm a terrible person. I didn't argue. She laughed bitterly. You're supposed to say, no, you're not. I'm not going to lie to you. She looked down. Fair. Another silence. Why did you do it? I asked. She shook her head. I don't know. I mean, I do. I just don't want to say it. Say it. She exhaled. Looked at the ceiling. Because I was jealous. I blinked. Jealous? Of what? Of you. She looked at me then. Eyes red. Of how much Matteo loves you. Of how present you are. How you actually care about making things special for him, even when you don't have money. Even when it's hard. Her voice cracked. Claire and Madison don't even like me. They like the stuff I buy them. They like being in photos. But me? I don't think they'd care if I disappeared tomorrow. I stared at her. She wiped her eyes. And you're this amazing mom with nothing. And I'm killing myself trying to be perfect. And all I'm doing is raising kids who'll need therapy for the rest of their lives. She laughed. Sharp and broken. So yeah, I saw Matteo's face when he opened those presents, and I hated it. Because my kids don't look at me like that. And instead of dealing with that, I tore it all down. I didn't know what to say. I'm sorry, she said. I'm so sorry. For all of it. Not just the party. For years of being awful to you. For making you feel small. For her voice broke. For being the kind of person who ruins a little kid's birthday because I'm a miserable, insecure mess. She covered her face with her hands and cried. I sat there, watching my sister fall apart on my couch, and felt nothing. No satisfaction. No relief. Just exhaustion. When she finally stopped, I said, you need to apologize to Matteo. I know. And it can't be for me. It has to be real. I know. And you need therapy. Real therapy. Not the kind where you take pictures of yourself meditating for Instagram. She laughed wetly. Okay. I called Matteo downstairs. He came slowly, standing at the bottom of the steps, looking at Vanessa with wary eyes. Vanessa got down on her knees. I level with him, Matteo, she said softly. I'm so sorry for what I did at your party. It was mean. And it was wrong. And you didn't deserve it. You didn't deserve any of it. Her voice shook. You're a really great kid. And I hope one day you can forgive me. Matteo stared at her for a long moment. Then he said, why did you do it? She swallowed hard. Because I was feeling bad about myself. And I took it out on you. And that's not okay. It's never okay. He nodded slowly, then looked at me. I nodded. He turned back to Vanessa. Okay. She exhaled. Okay? I forgive you, he said. But I don't want you at my next birthday. Vanessa's face crumpled. But she nodded. That's fair. Matteo went back upstairs. Vanessa stood, wiping her eyes. Thank you for letting me do that. Don't thank me, I said. Just be better. She nodded. I'm trying. She left a few minutes later. It's been 4 months since the party. Vanessa and I talk now. Not often, but we text sometimes. She sends me articles about parenting. Asks how Matteo's doing. She's in actual therapy now, working through some things. Her marriage is rocky. She's trying to spend more time with the twins without the cameras. We're not close, but we're civil. And honestly, that's enough. My dad stopped by last week. Brought Matteo a new book about paleontology. They sat on the porch and read it together while I made lemonade. As I watched them through the window, I thought about something my dad said that day. About how staying silent never keeps the peace, it just lets the loudest person win. He was right. I spent so long protecting myself from becoming a target that I forgot to protect my son. But I won't forget. Again, Matteo's 8th birthday is in 6 months. We're already planning. He wants a space theme this time. We're going to make it amazing. And this time, there won't be anyone around who'll try to tear it down, because boundaries aren't mean. They're love. And my son deserves to be loved. Loudly. Fiercely. Without apology. We both do.